Good evening and welcome back to Mycroft's cooking channel. And today we are going to be making Easter cookies. I know what I am wearing is not my usual apron. Mother dearest decided to hide it from me, so I shall have to make do with Christmas Snoopy. But yes, let's move on to the Easter cookies. And like any English gentleman, I am prepared and I have all of my ingredients set out for you, so you may know what I have used in this beautiful, glorious thing. Here we have 2 eggs, for we need to use the yolks and we need to use the whites separately, so they are here and ready. I have oranges for the zest, for the flavouring of this. I have 4 ounces of beautiful room temperature butter. I have 5 ounces of caster sugar, normal sugar that you put in your tea if you have your tea that way. And then in here we have 3 types of ingredients. We have plain flour, rice flour, and also mixed spice. And I have already pre-sieved them into this bowl. And I also have here my beautiful cookie cutters, an Easter egg, and a little chick. And of course there'll be more ingredients as we go along, and I will put it in the video what it is for each thing. But we must have it quickly, for we are losing light as it is already late evening. So let's get this show on the road. The first step is to cream your beautiful room temperature butter. You keep doing this until it has creamed like this. Before you actually start this, make sure you did leave it out of the fridge for a while to be able to do this, otherwise it will take a long time. Also, just to add, I have put the oven on to 160 degrees Celsius because I do not have 175 Celsius. In fact, the recipe says to put it under 350 degrees F. And that translated into degrees Celsius is 175, which I don't have that on the die. I only have 160 to 180, so I picked 160. But just to say, please make sure your oven is prepared and you've prepared your baking trays as well, because it will save a lot of time and energy. So what you do now is you add the sugar. And you beat this into the sugar until it's light and fluffy. The words of the recipe, not mine, children. Now that you have added your sugar and butter, you then separate one of the eggs, or the 2 eggs. The beautiful sexy eggs over here. So according to the recipe, we need 2 egg yolks. This is how you separate egg yolk, by the way, guys. If you're stupid enough to not know what an egg white is, you should know. When you fry an egg, it will go white. Put it in there. Now I'm going to only have 1 egg of egg white in here because I believe we need this later in the recipe, the egg white. So I then going to separate the 2nd egg, because we need 2 yolks in here, so the other egg white is separately. And put it in there. Don't worry guys, I will clean this up in a little bit. You then whisk it in your whisking device with a fork. Is my preferred chosen weapon of this technique. Now in the recipe it talks about you then add the raisins. Right, we're not using raisins this time because I'm going to be adventurous as any good chef, and I'm going to add in some orange zest to it instead. May I just add that I have washed my hands and I have washed all of my oranges and all of my equipment in case case I get any accusations of health. I mean, this is just common sense, people. Wash your hands and any other vegetables that are going into your delightful thing. You then stir in your orange zest with your egg yolk. You then add this to your mixture. Bloop. Ugh. Your beautiful, lovely mixture right here. You then get a sieve and you get the beautiful floured ingredients here, the plain flour, the rice flour and the mixed spice. You sieve it into your mixture. It does say sieve, so make sure you do sieve it and make it snow. Don't make it rain, make it snow, people.
I think wish we make it snow, not rain. Is this making any sense, people? Am I being just stupid? Make it snow, make it snow, make it snow, because England does not get snow, so this is how we get snow. This is all true, people. We don't get snow, so we have to sieve flour to get our snow.
You then mix in your flour and your dry ingredients together. Be careful with this process, guys, because this is going to turn into your dough afterwards. Also, while you're doing it, add a little bits of milk to bind it if necessary, okay guys? But first, just stir it together. In the recipe it does say only 1 to 2 tablespoons of milk. I think after that it will just get slushy, so I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of milk to try and get it to bind a bit better. Just getting my hands in because the spoon is starting to not do a lot, and we need to get this into a dough mixture. So I'm just using my hands. Remember, they are washed. And here you have it, our beautiful manageable dough. The next step is to knead it and to start cutting, I believe. So yeah. If you do find bits of butter like this, you need to keep kneading it for a little bit because you don't want it to be even. You don't want just random pieces of, look at that, butter in it. You want it to be nice, even mixture. But yes, it should be a nice soft yet manageable piece of dough. This is soft, this is manageable. Okay guys, so next step, lay it out, knead it, and cut it. Right, before you start kneading your dough out, you need to make sure that you have a nice, dry, clean, flat surface for when you lay out your flour, because you don't want it to stick, you want it to roll out nicely. I thought my surface was nice and clean, but then I found a bit of salad leaf on there, and well, I have been eating a bit more greens on here, so I have been using a bit more than normal. And I also found bits of ingredients from earlier from making the dough. So after when, look at that, after when you washed your top and dried it, get some plain flour, just get it on your top, on your surface, like so. Your dough, and you start to knead it a bit. If you don't know how to knead it, I suggest looking at a different video, because I always get the kneading process a little bit wrong. People say the way how I, not knead it, kneading. What is it? I can't say it right. Knead. The way how I knead, K-N-E-A-D. Even the way how I say it, people say I do it wrong. But yeah. How I used to remember it is, it's you punching the dough. Just imagine someone that you think deserves a good punching. Sherlock. Anyway, you want to get right in there. Make it nice and springy. Yeah? So it can be nice and flexible when you roll it out. Otherwise, if you don't knead it, it'll just crumble when you roll it out. And it won't, you don't want it to crumble, you want it to be nice and flat when you roll it out. Make sure you have your flour on standby. I can guarantee you'll forever you're going to forever like flour your surface now and then. If you want it to be nice, just look at it. Look at that, it's so good. You can smell the orange zest in it. Right, I have now finished kneading my dough, so I'm just putting one more surface of flour on my surface, flouring my surface. I cannot word the thing. You then get your rolling pin. If you notice, this looks like a different rolling pin to my previous video, I believe, because the last rolling pin had an accident. It died. Or unless I use this one in the other one. Oh, I can never remember. But anyway, you now roll out your dough. So that is 1/8 to 1/4 in. So it's thick, sort of thing. So they're quite thin, I believe. Let's roll it out nice and flat. The recipe does say should make up to 24 cookies. Now, if you notice earlier, my cookie cutters were quite huge. So I have a funny feeling we're going to be making less than that, but bigger cookies. Yeah? Which I don't think anyone can argue with that. Who doesn't want bigger cookies? I mean, come on, look at this dough. It's so beautiful. Now, when you believe you've rolled it out nice and thin enough, you get your cookie cutters. So I've got mine. I believe I'm going to start with a little chick first. My first round of cookies. I think I'm going to have a nice, beautiful chick.
So big. So big.
Right. I'm only going to do 3 at a time because this is, as much as this is a good surface, it's a little bit, so I'm just going to keep repeating this with the eggs and the chicks over and over again. And here we have the cookies before they go into the oven. Right, like I said, I have made them slightly bigger than what the recipe anticipated. So instead of 24 biscuits, we have 12. And I have used up all of the dough mixture. But considering the fact that these were meant to be made for 24 and for smaller cookie sizes, I think I did quite well. So the only thing now I leave it to do is to put it in the oven, and for 12 to 15 minutes. I am using my Hogwarts, very British, Hogwarts cooking timer to set it to the time. It says 12 to 15, so I have put it on 15. And while you are waiting, like any sane British person, please do your bit. Put the kettle on and make yourself a nice cup of tea. And I'll be back when 15 minutes have gone and the cookies are ready. Right, shall we have a look at the oven now? And here they are, the beauties. Behind the dirty oven screen lies our Easter cookies. Before I say anything, you may notice 2 things. Well, more than 2 things probably. One, there is more than 12 cookies present here. This is because the first batch over here, I forgot to glaze it over before I went in with the white from the eggs. And the thing is, so I tried to whiten it while it was in the oven, and it sort of made them a bit dodgy. So I thought, for the benefit of you guys, I will make another batch which will be glazed over properly. So anyway, this is the ending result of my Easter biscuits. Or I am British and we do not call them cookies because a cookie is a big giant sort of biscuit. These are pretty pathetic cookies if you ask me, if they were. But yes, these are my beautiful Easter biscuits, and they are for my many friends, which of course I do have. I have a Lestrade and other people. But of course, these are much healthier than chocolate. This is a much healthier present than an Easter egg, in my opinion, and it'll be much fairer for me, as you know, I am on a diet for reasons that my brother knows. Sherlock, you know why. But yes, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed watching me make Easter cookies. I hope you find it useful, and I'll see you next time here on the Mycroft cooking channel.